Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Zone to Speak podcast. I'm your host, Juliana. This episode of Zone to Speak is supported by Peloton, the ultimate sunscreen for athletes. If you know me, you know I never leave the house without sunscreen, and Peloton is my go-to. It's lightweight, breathable, and designed for endurance sports, perfect for any day out on the saddle. And because they are supporting the podcast, you get 20% off your order. Just head to the link in the show notes and use the code ZONE2SPEAK at checkout. Protect your skin, fuel your adventures, and support the pod while you do it. All right. Today on Zone to Speak, we are talking about gravel, but maybe not in the way you expect, because this isn't just about racing bikes. It's about building experiences people remember. My guest is Janosch Wintermantel. I hope I'm pronouncing it right.
Yes.
Nice. The guy behind some of the most unique gravel events: Utopia Gravel in the deserts of Andalusia, Octopus Gravel in the Swiss Alps, Sahara Gravel in Morocco, and Pedaleo, a bikepacking festival built around the idea that riding bikes can bring people together in a completely different way. What's interesting about Janosch is that he didn't come from the traditional world of event organizing. He was a rider first, an explorer, someone chasing beautiful places on a bike. And somewhere along the way, that became a full-time job. So today we are talking about how that happened, what it actually takes to build events across multiple countries, and why he seems obsessed with finding places nobody else is looking. We will also get into the culture shift happening in gravel right now, the balance between competition and adventure, and whether riders are actually searching for connection more than results. Let's get into it. Welcome to Zone to Speak.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for the intro.
Well, you're very hard to get a hold of, and I'm so happy you made the time. You're finally here. I first heard of you when I was doing the Badlands Rally, and Utopia was going on at the same time, and that's such a magical place. You weren't originally an event organizer. You were a rider exploring places by bike. How did this whole thing actually start? At what point did you realize this could become more than just a passion project?
Yeah, I mean, originally I'm coming from the road, coming from road racing. But yeah, very soon, like, my biggest passion was definitely exploring. I got a gravel bike already. I was already exploring before, but then by gravel, it started already in 2014. And that for me was the best thing, just finding new ways, finding new areas. And then I was working for Scott as a global marketing manager for like 5 years. Had a great time, but at one point I feel like I needed a new challenge. And because of this, I was also looking for Photoshop shooting locations always. I found this area first in the Alps where we do Octopus. And somehow I couldn't believe that everyone does the road climbs around, and not even 1% knew that next to it there are even more stunning gravel climbs. And I feel like someone needs to organize an event here. I dropped a tourism board, the idea, a presentation about my event concept. They liked it, and suddenly I was an event organizer before I knew it. It was kind of a side project. I was in the moment to leave Switzerland, to moving to Spain, and at the same time I was starting an event in Switzerland, which was almost a coincidence. But I think the main motivation at the beginning was it's not possible that this no one knows. Someone has to do something. If no one did it for now, why should I not do it?
Yeah. So a lot of events happen in places people either overlook or didn't even realize existed. Like you said, on Octopus Gravel. What makes you look at a place and think this needs a gravel event?
I mean, one thing is simply the views you can have. The views you can have on a bike, the conditions of the
Yeah.
trails, the terrain. I mean, gravel, there's different definitions of gravel, but it should be still suitable for a gravel bike. And then, of course, it adds something to it if it has something special on top, like a special culture as we have in Morocco in the Sahara, or in Andalusia, the whole cuevas and everything. But then also the traditional villages in Switzerland have also a lot of charm. And I think this combined, for going to a stunning place to be able either to challenge yourself or to race against others, I think that's what I inspire people. And for me as an organizer, it's not enough just to organize a race for a race where people just want to look on the handlebar and the power numbers, and they don't really care so much about the surroundings. And I think there are enough races like this out there, which is fine. If you're more just looking for competition, you will find enough. But my focus was always first to bring people to stunning places.
Yeah, when I started doing ultra gravel races, I still had a little bit of the competitive bug. I don't have it anymore. But quickly I realized how much you miss out, when you were competing. And then when I started doing, it's still hard, but sleeping a little bit more and seeing as much as I can. And it's so funny, that when you get together with the people that finished super fast, they haven't seen almost none of your pictures. They're like, oh, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. So I guess, there's nothing wrong with either, but I like exploring and seeing things. And that's why I actually go to these remote places. It's not just for the nature and the views, but also to be exposed to new cultures and learn new things. So I wouldn't want to miss out on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's also what I see in my events, that the most people take it in if they're able to go slow. But then also the professionals, we have to see at my events, that's their job. They cannot take in the landscape as much as perhaps someone who just tries to finish it in 3-4 hours more.
Yeah.
But he or she also appreciates it more to be in a stunning place, and the time before the events to go riding there and afterwards. Therefore, at the end for us, it's still for the full gas racer. But I definitely agree also that it's not the same. You cannot say take it in as much, no matter if it's a 200-kilometer gravel race or an ultra. I think the moment you are racing for the win, you cannot take it in as much as just coming on.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. We were talking about Octopus Gravel, which is a very different race from the normal gravel race format. There are dead-end climbs, festival vibes, rider choosing their own suffering. How did you come up with that format?
First of all, because I realized the loop was not possible. But then I realized there are 8 absolutely stunning climbs. And I was like, it is rewarding. It's strange at the beginning to think, okay, you go up and you go down the same way. But yeah, simply to try to do this one and this one. And very quickly I realized it was not just because really a loop was not really possible. Actually, it added something extra because people absolutely love it to have people coming your way the whole time. Not, too much that they would disturb you really. Meeting other people, greeting, cheering you up, you're climbing, they're descending, they're motivating you. And then also because of this concept, you have so much more time on the feed zones to stop on top, to chat to others, to really eat, drink. And then also this concept, because not all of we don't have an overall time. We have time segments. We have 3 climbs, which are timed uphill. And then what allows us also that the best riders in the world, we have every year a couple of them taking part. They also enjoy it a lot because they can go slower. They can go perhaps with their partner who is not as fit, doing 2-3 climbs on a slower pace, or with their friends who are slower, and still race for the win. I think that's one of the reasons why Octopus from the beginning was quite successful and never needed much promotion or push, because simply people appreciate that concept so much. And then also, I think another thing I did not realize as much in the beginning, as you can challenge yourself and you don't need to do 150, 180 kilometers or something. You can just see on the day how you feel. That there are a lot of people who pick it as the very first event, which means they don't want to be scared that they have to do this and that, and they can simply say, I see if I can do 2 climbs or 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
It means we have more people who do it as their first event, and also an extremely high female participation with almost 30% at every edition, which is very high for racing.
It's high. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you. Maybe a lot of that incentive it is because you're not going to be left alone. You're going to end up meeting your friends right after that section, that everybody goes all out, and you can still hang out and do some parts together. That's a really cool format. I like it. So, Switzerland, it's one thing. Southern Spain is another thing. But organizing events in Morocco, and I know you're also doing now in Rwanda with Gorilla Gravel, it's a different level. So what's the hardest part about building an event somewhere else outside of Europe?
The interesting thing, I also thought I would never do it outside of Europe because I had so much trouble in the south of Spain already. I was like, that's my limit. My limit is there.
Really?
But what I realized doesn't mean it is more complicated than outside of Europe, which means coming to organizational stuff, the event in the south of Spain is the most complex. Sometimes it's simply luck. Who are your contact persons? Who is the person in charge of that village, that town, etc. And sometimes it's simply the how the country works. What I quickly realized, it's impossible if you don't speak the languages. I need to speak Spanish, I need to speak French. If not, I cannot organize it there. But then also, it's way more. For example, I lived some time in Catalonia, but Catalonia is not Andalusia. Like the conflicts,
very different cultures.
Where they are like between villages, that there's a hate-love relationship, which you have to be aware of to kind of really, if you do this, then you have to do also a favor to this town. If not, that one gets upset and this and that. Stuff like this, I did not see as much as the beginning, and you really had to learn, which means, every place has the good things and the pros and cons, and you simply have to either get a good feeling already before, you simply have to learn it. It is by far not enough just to speak the language.
Wow.
And what I also did in all those places, I got local support, which I did kind of the mistake. And the very first one for Utopia did not have. But now I have a team of people from Andalusia, not just from Spain. I have a team of Moroccans, of course. Without, it's even more challenging.
Yeah, from the outside, the events look beautiful. Sunset, speed zones, drones.
Yeah.
What's the reality behind the scenes that riders never see?
I will be never the person who enjoys the event the most. It's just not possible. I'm responsible somehow for every participant, for the safety and for the fun. In a certain way, it gets to you, which means I would not organize events if I would not enjoy them. But of course, I can be not as relaxed as a participant, which means there's always last minute things you have to solve, to have to do this and that. Luckily, we never had really a bad crash, bad accident. But of course, you always, until the last person is not home, you cannot relax. Then it's an outdoor event, and there are limits. Like until a certain point, just experience is not the same. If it's a day full of rain, you will not have the same fun as if it's 25 degrees and sunny.
Yeah.
But then there are also moments you have to consider if you cancel it. If there's a storm or strong hail or whatever. And of course, that's also stressful in the lead up. And of course, certain things you have then to see, okay, if this happens, do I have to cancel? Do I have to shorten this and that? Luckily, it also never really happened. Once we had to shorten Octopus by a few hours, but luckily the first 6 hours were great. But of course, it's something also affects a lot the days ahead. Where you have to consider, okay, if the weather forecast goes in this and that direction, what we're doing.
Yeah, sometimes can be a relief or a bummer for the rider, if the race is cut short. I remember from my triathlon days as well, sometimes the swim would have to be canceled because it was too rough. And then there's always debates on that. But I think being safe is always the best choice.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we have our plans for certain things. I mean, for example, the desert of Gravel, there's strong rain. It's peanut butter mud down there.
Forget it. Yeah.
I mean, you're sending people down there and then they get all stuck. Which means, if it's light rain, you can still do it. If it's heavy rain, you cannot. You have to shorten it. Can you add some kilometers somewhere else? Because we know a lot of the other courses, even in heavy rain, it would work. But then, of course, you really have to, like this year we had the case. It looked like we were really unlucky and had the day with most rain, kind of. And at the end, we had no rain at all. Like just 2 days before, it flipped around and moved all the one day behind. It was more of a cloudy day, but worked perfectly. But yeah, I mean, you have to be prepared. And unfortunately, the weather is getting more and more extreme. Yeah, you have to be ready in case you have the worst day of the year.
Yeah. And when this organizing races became your actual life, what was the moment where you realized, okay, this is actually my career now?
I mean, I quit my job with Scott, which, I mean, they're still a sponsor. We still have a great relationship. It was mainly that I feel like I had to leave Switzerland after 7 years. And then I did Octopus. I had some other projects at the side, but then I decided to do one in Andalusia. I did some photo shootings back in the days there. It was a kind of the same time when Badlands started. I also raced it in the second edition. And I kind of at that time I also thought like this area needs like a proper gravel race, which means I was at 2 events, which means 2 events for, if it's new events, it's already a full-time job for the whole year. And yeah, I mean, at the beginning, of course, I was living a bit of my savings also. But yeah, then it was picking up. It came Sahara, which was also more like, it was not like, let's go to Morocco to organize a race. It was like, I like to explore in my free time, and then you're there and it just gets too good and you're like, damn it. I mean, this place needs a race, and you start putting puzzles together, how it could look like. Because probably realized, I mean, I have 3 or 4 events because Gorilla, I'm actually not the owner. It's a corporation. That's the only event which I'm not owning. I'm kind of in charge for communication, promotion, and consulting also for the national team. But it's an experienced Belgian Rwandan team with mountain bike racing or race across Rwanda. They're also organizing for many years. But yeah, coming to the other events, they are so different.
They are.
One is a state race, one is a very unique concept in the Swiss Alps, and then Utopia is perhaps more this traditional racing concept. And the reason was simply, I kind of decided to do those places because I found them so unique an event. But then the same concept perhaps doesn't work, which works there, which means we adapted the concept to the area. I don't want to fly people to the Sahara for doing a one-day race. I mean, there's too much to see, too different. And then in the Swiss Alps, as I said, I did not feel like a loop would work properly because the descents would be too steep or there would be hike and bike or whatever to get over the top on the other side and so on, which means it was this concept. And then in Utopia, it is perhaps a more traditional event with a hill climb and a race day. But at the end of the day, we simply adapted the concept to the area.
That's amazing because, yeah, sometimes, you don't want to do a whole trip for a day event. So I love the idea that you extend that in Morocco. It is on my list, the Sahara Gravel. It looks amazing. But now you're also doing, I think, in collaboration with the organizers of the race around Rwanda, Gorilla Gravel. Tell me a little bit more about that. I mean, Rwanda is one of my favorites. I've been to race around Rwanda and just love that country and the gravel there.
It is very different to Morocco, but similar amazing. It's just, people are so warm-hearted. There's so much energy. It's beautiful. It's safe. It ticks all the boxes. It's very exotic. Riding on red gravel tracks. It's challenging, but also what we always like, it's not over the top. Like we don't want that people, they still can sleep well, they can eat well. Like you have stages where you challenge yourself, but then you can recharge for the next day. And I'm absolutely in love with Rwanda. It's very different to Morocco. They're both very close to my heart. But everyone who loves to explore new places, I highly recommend to come to Rwanda. And who likes racing, happy to have them at the race. We also do now adventure trips for the people who don't like races. Or if you don't like anything organized, just go yourself and explore Rwanda.
Yeah. Rwanda is just so breathtaking and so safe and so nice. Can't go wrong. Besides races, you also created Pedaleo, which is a bikepacking festival. And it looks so cool. It feels like a gathering of people that love bikes. Why did you want to create something around bikepacking culture specifically? And what's happening with Pedaleo now? Like, it's such a cool idea.
Yeah. I mean, as I said early on, my biggest passion is exploring, and simply Pedaleo stands for exploring and meeting people. And I thought, how is it possible that there are so many bikepacking races out there, but there's not really a European meeting point for the bikepacking scene?
Exactly.
And I thought, at an event, which is also, let's say, also for the industry as expo and so on, to come there by bicycle, to have your own adventure, no matter if it's on one of our official routes or you build your own route, to have a stunning 1 week ride or how long you want to have it, and then end at a place where you meet people from all over Europe or even abroad from Europe to connect and get inspired for other adventures on our Earth. I mean, that was for me almost, I could not believe that it really did not really exist like this. I mean, there's an event in Italy, which is already very big, very similar concept, and it's called BAM. But I could not believe it, but to be honest, for me, the idea actually came almost from the Octopus concept, which means I thought, Octopus, we have a day where people come from climbing up and descending again to the same spot. And why not can be Europe like an octopus, where people come from all over Europe to one place to connect.
Yeah. No, it's a great idea. I'm glad that this keeps on growing and growing, and hopefully I can make it there someday. Summers are hard for me because my daughter is with me for the summers. But I think this is going to be her last summer since she's going to university. So let's see.
Actually, in Pedaleo, it's really the most suitable event also to coming with the family, even if you're not a full guy cyclist.
Okay.
You can just come. Like, we have a lot of kids, we have teenagers, they like to
nice.
come, that something is happening. Yeah, therefore it's definitely from our event which is most suitable. Also for dogs, I mean, you cannot bring your dog there in the festival area, etc. Really everyone.
And is everybody camping, or some people stay at a hotel?
85% are camping. But if you're not into camping, there's no problem at all, because a hotel's accommodation or even a camper van area is super close. no one will really realize if you go for the comfort version or not. But yeah, we also asked last year in an anonymous questionnaire who was camping, who was doing this and that, and 85% said they were camping. But yeah, if it's not for you, you don't have to. I have to say, like when I'm going backpacking, I often don't bring my tent because I want to go light, I want to go extreme.
Yeah.
And I like to go to places where I can put my bike safe and connect with locals.
Yeah, me too.
And then with a tent, sometimes you're limited. The moment you stop, you stay at your tent and you cannot go out and meet people.
Exactly.
Therefore, that's one of the reasons, like especially in Latin America, if it's not so remote, I prefer to do with the cheapest accommodation. But yeah, it always depends on the place where you go. I feel like if it's better with a tent or not, and of course a bit also on your budget.
Yeah, I agree. I love wild camping, but it's just nice sometimes to have a proper shower and charge everything. And like you said, everything's in a safe space. You can go out and explore a little bit where you stopped. Like you said, pros and cons and everything. So depends what you're up to. Yeah. If you could build a dream event, zero limitations on budget, logistics, politics, where would your dream gravel event happen?
To be honest, I mean, there's still a lot to improve, this and that, but it's not that I have so much more wishes. Like I want that Pedaleo becomes really this place everyone wants to cycle to and get even bigger and even perhaps you have more areas, the area where people can party until 4 at night and the other area where it's super chilled and super peaceful, but everything close by and so on. I also don't feel comfortable necessarily to fly everyone to the most remote place in the world. Just thousands of people meeting there.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm also kind of happy that at least Morocco is close by for most. It's not like you have to fly around to have this stunning culture, this kind of stunning place. Yeah, to be honest, there's not much left in my opinion. Where I feel like, I mean, there's a lot of places I want to ride my bike. Like I've never been to Peru, Bolivia, most of South America I haven't been. I did all Central America, did a couple of times Colombia. But for an event, I mean, we have trips to Kyrgyzstan, we will go to Atacama in the future, to Patagonia, etc. But this is short trips with small groups, yeah.
Yeah, you're saying a lot of names there on my list. Atacama, Bolivia. I forgot the name. I want to go to the Salt Lake.
Yeah.
I really want to ride my bike there. Yeah, so much to explore. It's like never ending. The world is so big.
And I think if you would come to Pedaleo, I mean, you would and listen to all those speeches we have. You were like, oh, fuck, I want to go there.
Yeah.
And this person did. And
yeah, it's a nice problem to have. I have a few hopefully fun, quick fire round of questions. Hardtail or gravel bike?
Gravel bike. Even so, I have to admit, now here next to me, I can even touch it. I have a hardtail. No, actually, it is a hardtail frame, but also a completely stiff fork, which means I build up an extreme gravel bike with a hardtail frame. Like I got a scale frame and to get even bigger tires, but it will be still a dropper. Yeah.
I want to put bigger tires on my gravel bike. Alps or desert?
To live, definitely the Alps. I think it's always, for me, still better to live at a place which is greenish. But yeah, I mean, you are always probably impressed most by views which are so different what you're used to. Like for a couple of days, I mean, yeah, probably what I've seen or like where we go in the Sahara.
Mm-hmm.
Still definitely in my top 3 I've seen in my life. And yeah, to the Alps I'm a bit more used, but I mean, it's always mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is mind-blowing. Sunrise ride or night ride?
Sunrise ride.
One country that surprised you the most by bike?
I have to say either Rwanda or Morocco. Yeah. I've seen, as I said, I crossed all Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, all of them, which was all stunning. Colombia is an amazing place. But at the end, I think the top three I've seen is the Alps, Rwanda, and Morocco. This summer I will go to Kyrgyzstan. I haven't ridden so much in Asia yet. Yeah, I also loved Iceland, but then it's so cold and a bit too harsh sometimes.
Yeah, agree.
But yeah, it was also great riding in Iceland. Nothing against it, and yeah, I mean everywhere it is beautiful. Italy, Spain, it's also absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably the two top ones would be Morocco, Rwanda, and then the Alps. Where I have my three events, and yeah, I might be biased, but I guess it's really like this for me.
You've been there, and those places touched in a way that you actually wanted to create an event. So it's probably not biased. Just, I have one closing question. When riders leave one of your events, what do you hope stays with them?
I always hope, especially, I mean, if it's an event as Sahara and so on, but at the end, all of those places, that they take home not just the amazing views, but also they really appreciate the culture. I mean, I see it a lot in Morocco. People like, oh, is it safe? How it is? And then they're completely overwhelmed by the hospitality.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, I mean, why, for example, Sahara is such huge success is not just because of the views, it's the connecting with other people, because it has this perfect size of, in total, we are 200 people moving around for 5 days, and it creates such a bond.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what stays with you the most is always the personal memories, the people you met. No matter if it's a local in a shop or some other competitors. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think what you're building is so cool. All the races and Pedaleo, I think everyone listening needs to check it out. Your races and Pedaleo, if you like bikepacking, you need to check it out. It's on my list. I need to make it there.
You even see it as the cheapest version, like to visit Switzerland, because the whole festival is 35 Swiss francs. You have 3 days of camping included. Therefore, that's actually the event which has the least financial motivation behind. It's just at the moment something where I feel like I want to build up something cool, and people together. I really hope that everyone who loves bikepacking wants to come there.
Yeah, I hope so too. Myself included. Thank you so much for coming to Zone to Speak. It's a pleasure to have you here, and hopefully more to come.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure, and hope to see you soon at one of the events.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Ciao. And that's all for today's episode. I want to thank the listeners for tuning in. Your support means everything. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider following, leaving a review, and sharing it with your friends.